everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. You know, it's been long overdue, but I decided to do a video talking about my 2019 Range Rover Sport. If you're new to the channel, I've had this car for about a year, a little over almost 2 years. Now this one is a supercharged dynamic. If you follow the channel long enough, you know that I ended up selling my F85, my 2016 BMW X5M. And I went to this because I wanted something that was comfortable. And with this being as comfortable as it is, I was, you know, having a new baby and starting over and want something bigger for the family. I was thinking, you know what, this might be the perfect vehicle. You know, it has everything. It's got the horsepower. It's got the comfortable ride. It's got the space. But one of the things that I was not keen on was the driving dynamics. Coming from, obviously, 2 X5s out of Q7, something I wanted a sportier drive. And I knew the goal of this wasn't to be sportier drive, but I've been missing out on quite a bit. So I can say, I guess, as one of the things I dislike about it is, I'm going to say, you know, this is a sport. I know that it has the horsepower. I know that if I want to throw it in the curve, I know it will take it. But there's just something about it, especially coming from BMW, I just don't have that feel. 120 miles an hour, and I am putting the brakes on. I don't think that's going to, see. But I think about, what is the goals of it? What can it do great? For one, when you're in this, immediately when you're in the driver's seat, it feels safe. You feel like you're in a tank. You get that feeling like you're in a truck. You know, if anything were to happen, this is the vehicle that's going to be all terrain. This is the vehicle that's going to take me to off the beaten path and do it great. With the low range 4-wheel drive, with the towing capacity, it's great. All right. So another thing I like about this, let's get in the inside of it. Look at these seats. Immediately when I got into these seats, I saw the blue, this Eclipse, I think it was called Eclipse and Ebony interior. I was blown away. I was like, I've never seen this on any vehicle before with this color combination, the black exterior with the blue interior. And I said, you know, I sat in here, you get the armrests. Pause it. I'm gonna jump on the other side. And like I said, I'm sitting in here. I feel like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like, but when for example, I turn the ignition on, it feels great. It feels, you get this commanding driving position. And I don't know why, but I have the need to put my elbow up here, my other arm here, and just drive like I'm commanding the road. Another thing I like is the center refrigerator. That's right, I have a refrigerator in here with a true compressor. It can chill pretty good. I could put like a drink in here. Listen, that's the compressor. It's got an actual compressor. It's a true refrigerator in here, not just a cooler. That I love about this. That's something like when I do a road trip, that's something that I enjoy when I can get a drink. Even if a drink is hot, that's something that, that's something that I know that's going to be great in here, okay? What I don't like about this is cup holders. While the cup holders do a great job, see how it slides? You got a deep storage console in here. When you have a drink in here, if you break it does have a tendency to slide. It doesn't lock in place. It just slides there. Okay. Also the shifter. I like to be able, when I go into reverse, I like to be able to just click it in the revert or from drive. But this one, you really got to press this button and click it down each gear, each time. There is no, for example, if I want, actually I won't crank it up. But if I'm in reverse, I have to click it in. Next thing I wish that this car had was a brake hold. I don't know why. You don't realize you miss a brake hold until you don't get a brake hold. And then you want a brake hold. So that's another thing. Another thing I don't like about this, I do have the driver assistance package, means that I can do all my driving assistance. I mean, it would auto steer for me, it would brake for me, it does all the things, but except compared to, for example, adaptive cruise control, it's okay compared to other cars I've had before. It does an okay job. The auto steer, nowhere near as good as what I've had in my Tesla. Nowhere near. It is very jerky. It seems like it wanders a little bit more. And like I said, this is a full driver assistance package, and I've often found myself just turning off the auto steer function and just using it as just a regular adaptive. Also, the parking assistance function, while it can park itself, I notice it doesn't get itself really good in between the lines. It seems to, when it parallel parks, it seems to be too far away from the curb. When it perpendicular parks, it's always crooked. Don't know why. Don't know why it's a thing, but that's been a thing. What I do like about it is both side mirrors auto dim. So that's something you don't see now in cars. A lot of cars are going away, that you only get the driver's side that dims, but both side mirrors as well as the center mirror auto dims. Now, as we're talking about dimming and lights, might as well go to the lights. While I like the fact that it has headlight washers, the headlight washers I think are useful. They have its place. While most manufacturers are getting away with them because people complain for some reason, I don't know why, that they say, "Oh, get soap in my car," when well, I imagine if I wash my windshield, my car isn't that clean anyway. So there's that. But yeah, Land Rover is still keeping the headlight washers, and I find them useful when you're driving in inclement weather, freezing rain, snow, where that stuff can accumulate on the lens of the headlight itself. It serves as a way to knock off that, especially if you're running a de-icer into your washer system. This one is equipped with the heated and cooled front and rear seats. All right, you don't see many vehicles with cooled rear seats. This one has it. And I keep mentioning cooled seats because it's not just a ventilated seat. Ventilated seats only work when you're in a humid climate, your back is sweaty, and you get some airflow blowing your back. A cooled seat truly cools the seat down, and I mean it. It cools the seat. The seat gets somewhat cold. It's probably the only car that I ever felt where I'm like, okay, it's hot summertime. Let me turn my cooled seat down, and the seat cools down. No matter what time of day, no matter how where it is I feel. The only difference is I wish there was more cooling on the upper back portion. I feel the seat more in the seat portion, the cooling aspect. The sound system. I'm gonna get to the sound system right now. Now I don't have the 1200 watt Meridian, or sorry, the 1700 watt Meridian, which I can't imagine how that sounds. It's gotta be great. I have the 825 watt, and the 825 watt sounds pretty close to what I had at Bang & Olufsen, which was 1200 watt. Does a really good job. Decent. I would say not quite as good as the Bang & Olufsen, but it's decent. It does decent well. Also, I like having the Apple CarPlay, although it is not wireless. It is a wired CarPlay. And then with that being said, when I have it plugged in, there's really no place for me to put my phone unless I set it here in a cup holder, which I necessarily didn't want to set it in a cup holder. Especially if I have a cup holder, I'm utilize it for something else. This is where it starts to go downhill. This infotainment system is slow. Right now, it seems to be pretty quickly. It seems to be moving pretty quickly. Nope. but I feel like there are times where, see, right now it's moving decently well, but there are times where I'm trying to do something. So there, and I just wish it was quicker. Right now it's okay, but it seems like when I need it, it's not there. And since we're here in this menu, I have to show you something. For somebody who wants to go off the beaten path, for someone who wants to overland, someone who even curious about me off-roading, this vehicle is it. Just showing you right now in this menu, I have a rear differential lock. I have a center differential lock. It monitors my steering on my wheels turn a little bit, tells me what gear I'm in. It shows the suspension right now. When I'm driving or if I'm off-roading, you'll see these cylinders go up and down. That's telling you basically what the suspension is doing. All my off-road programs are down here. Dynamic, and this is where I feel is where I'm let down. Dynamic doesn't give me the suspension feels I want, and I can barely tell if there's a firmer ride or not. I feel like I'm missing out on a few things. I checked obviously where make sure that I'm in. Obviously, everything's all in aggressive dynamic mode, steering, everything gear shift, but it just doesn't seem to feel like I'm in a true dynamic program. If you don't know which program to put it in, if you're like, I don't know which one, you press this button down. This is automatic terrain response, and the vehicle will select, but you don't never notice it, but it will do it for you. Find the best program based upon the terrain that you're traveling on. And if for some reason you come up on a hill or something where it feels like you need to be into a low range, it will tell you that. And I mentioned low range because this has a true low range four-wheel drive. There's something that another thing I wish it had a little more cargo space. It's less cargo space than what I had in my X5. I looked at the new X5s. That new X5s have a lot more. Like I said, it's decent, but I only notice it when I'm packing up. Got the stroller, got the couple suitcases, and before you know it, is filling up pretty quickly. And this is where I'm realizing maybe I should do something else. For a long time looking at SVR, a lot of people want me to get the SVR. I've been thinking about the SVR, but the SVR, I don't know if it's going to fulfill what I need. Will the SVR give me the true feeling back where I'm missing? Will the SVR give me, I test drove a couple of SVRs. Actually, I drove 3 SVRs. And for some reason, I just can't pull the trigger on them. Don't know why. I like driving them. But is it different enough from the supercharged dynamic where I've already had the V8s, 518 horsepower, and getting 570, going to 518 to 575 horsepower? Is that really enough where I notice the difference? Another thing I want to mention is that I don't have, much as they advertise, I don't have any auto leveling headlights or adaptive. They don't do any type of adaptive function. I was surprised that a vehicle this caliber was lacking that. Now that is a minor thing, but something to mention, especially when I was shopping. I was like, oh, this doesn't, actually I didn't even notice it. I just noticed when I do the startup, there was no self-check. But what I really noticed is when I was towing a trailer, the headlights were pointing up a little higher than I had wanted to do. And I noticed they weren't, aiming down when I come over bumps and things. So we'll see. Also, something else I wanted to mention too with Range Rover is it seems as though when you have one, people look at you like you. And like I said, it don't matter what year. I buy my cars used anyway. And also, I don't buy my cars to impress others. I should say that. I buy it for myself. I buy it because I like it. It has nothing to do with what people perceive as anything else, but it's been the first vehicle I've owned where people perceive you as, when you have a Range Rover as status. And I didn't know that until I got it. And once I got it, I was surprised because I never viewed a Range Rover as that. I viewed a Range Rover as just another SUV. Yeah, it's got some capability. It's a little expensive for what, you know, everything else. And, you know, so I use it for this intended purpose. I mean, I'll tow with it. I will take it off road. I'm not afraid to use it, but I didn't buy it for, I bought it for its comfort. I bought it for, obviously, for me, I like the way it looked. And I wanted to see, is it as unreliable as people make it out to be, for me. All right, not sure what that was. Heard this loud hissing noise, make sure it wasn't like leaking tire. I was like, did I run over something? But anyway, now I'm stuck here on ramp. I'm gonna have to really accelerate to get up to speed. Cancel that. We'll go ahead and pull out traffic, and we don't have much on-ramp time, so we're gonna have to see 10 miles an hour. Here we go. Half throttle, see what happens. 40 miles an hour. See, 50. Change the lanes. $70 an hour uphill. It was shifting at 4,000, and we're up 75 miles an hour. Sorry, the semis I went and boxed in because they're going up the hill slowly. So now I'm back in another lane, let these cars go by. It says I'm at 4,000 feet of elevation. And reliability-wise, other than that one issue, I haven't had any problems. I wouldn't hesitate to put this on a road trip because I know it's going to do it. I know it's reliable. The rumors out there suggest otherwise, but they're rumors. Most people who say it, who's never owned one, most people who talk about it, who've never owned a Range Rover or a Range Rover product, they're just going by what they've heard from their friend whose friend had one and may have had a problem, and who knows why or what happened. And I made a video about this, talking about the reliability of Range Rover. Are they unreliable? I mentioned my whole ownership experience starting from beginning to end. I mentioned a couple little hiccups. Like I said, one was where they had to take everything out, the remain seal, but that could have been any car. Toyota is no exception. Honda is no exception. Those cars are just as, and I should say this, I've had Hondas, BMWs, Toyota products. I've had all the cars. My most unreliable car to date is not a Jaguar or Land Rover product. It's not a Land Rover, not a Range Rover. It's not a BMW. It's not a Mercedes. It's not an Audi. It's not German. It's not European. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna go, that's a whole separate video. But my most unreliable car, you'd be surprised. And it's none of those. So before you guys get in the comments, before you say, oh, you know, you should get rid of the Range Rover. Yeah, I'm getting rid of it, but I'm not getting rid of it because it's unreliable. I'm not gonna change my mind because it's unreliable. I'm just gonna change my mind because I wanna try something different, just like I always do. Now, my video where I talked about the reliability, there are a lot of comments. People were saying, see, this is why. And it's the same thing with everything else. You know, they probably watched it, saw me talk about one problem, and they immediately got in the comments and ended the video. Watch the whole video, folks. Watch the whole video where I talk about it, and you'll see. It's not unreliable. A lot of it hearsay. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna talk about. The question is, will I make it back to BMW? Well, at some point, will I get back to owning a BMW? We'll see.